And we want to hear from voters now. Geoff Harris joining us live with 6 of them. Geoff, how are they feeling about the race right now, especially as those polls close and we start to see some of those results coming in?
A lot of different emotions, Dee Dee. I mean, we're talking about a little bit of anxiety. There's a lot of excitement in the air as well. Of course, everybody is checking their phones like many of us are doing throughout the night as well. But as you mentioned, we are joined in studio by 6 voters across, at least here in the East Coast. We're talking about Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland as well. And before we get into some of the specific topics, we do want to introduce all of these voters for you. So, Joe, I do want to start over there with you in the top right-hand corner. If you don't mind introducing yourself, where you're from, and then also maybe 1 or 2 issues that are most important to you in this election.
Fantastic, Jeff. I'm Joe Paul. I'm from Washington, D.C. 1 or 2 issues that are important to me, right at the top of the list, is democracy, and a close second is the economy.
Abby?
I'm Abby Platt. I live in Northern Virginia. The issue that I care most about is the economy and the inflation that hits our pocketbook every time we go to the store. And I also care a great deal about border security and the impact that it has on the safety in our communities.
Hi, I'm Dwight Patel. I'm the 3rd Vice Chair of the Maryland Republican Party. I'm from Montgomery County, Maryland. My biggest issues are the economy, the high inflation, high price of gas, and crime, as well as border security.
Okay.
Are my big issues.
So we already have some similar issues here that we're focusing on. What about up here?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Hopkins from Baltimore, Maryland, and my 2 issues are, number 1, democracy, and number 2, women's rights.
Walter.
Yeah, thank you, Walter Tejada from Arlington. It's hard to say the 2 issues, essentially, but of course the economy is important to everyone, but I certainly want to protect our democracy in our nation, and I think the issues of health and fair treatment for immigrants those are important issues for me.
Amanda Beck, I'm from Howard County, Maryland, and a couple of things that I have on my mind tonight and recently include education and the funding related to that, but also access for women's health care.
Okay, so obviously as we hear everybody giving their answers here, a couple different things that intermix with one another, topics that are on everybody's minds. And I do want to start with some exit polls. We saw from NBC News earlier, we also saw with CNN that democracy was coming in as one of the top things in terms of those exit polls, in terms of what is important to voters. And we talked about this maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, Joe. Democracy, what is at stake for you in this election?
Well, there's lots at stake. I mean, there's one candidate who would suspend the Constitution, which I think is out of line and insane, and another candidate who wants to bring the people together. I think that we should be able to engage in civil discourse and disagree, even if we don't agree, but we should be able to lead with love and respect. So a lot's at stake for this election.
Civil discourse, that was something, Walter, you and I were talking about a little bit in the hallway before, just making sure that there is this civil discourse throughout the entire election season, and then, of course, past tonight into the rest of the week.
Absolutely, and hopefully we can agree from the same set of facts so we can have a civilized conversation. And if I disagree with someone and they have better points, I need to take a look at that and see how much I incorporate. But I do have the same similar concerns as Joe on how the Republican nominee during this campaign really, in my opinion, used the politics of fear. And the other side said the other side wanted to bring us together. So I think those are very contrasting views, and hopefully we can protect and maintain a democracy that we take for granted. And some of us who come from other lands who have become U.S. citizens perhaps appreciate the democracy more than others.
Dwight, I saw you raising your hand here. They are telling me to wrap in the studio, but I do just want to put, obviously, attack in that point, because as soon as we come back to this focus group, we're going to start with you so you can respond to what was just said by both Joe and Walter as well. Dee Dee, I'm going to send things back to you.
All right, Geoff, thank you. We'll keep an eye on that exit polling, as it can be telling of the trends as this night carries out. Donald Trump's campaign hosting its